He's just a regular guy in Carlsbad, giving you his opinions on the city, good and bad.
Hey, regular guy in Carlsbad. Here I am at 3630 Harding Street, which is the site for the Windsor Pointe development project that is originally started for veterans but expanded out to veterans and seriously mentally ill folks. We're here to get some
history of this project. Okay. The first 4-point-something million was approved February 14th, 2017 on a 3-to-1 vote with one absent voter. Michael Schumacher was absent. Let's take a look at a little excerpt of the presentation that Deb Fountain gave to the council, where it talked about this being a veterans-only project.
And we have Housing and Neighborhood Services Director, Debbie Fountain.
Thank you, Mayor. The item we have for you tonight is a new apartment project that is requesting some financial assistance. So our recommended action tonight for you, and this is coming from the Housing Commission as well as staff, is to adopt a resolution approving the residual receipts loan in the amount of $4,250,000. This money would come from the Housing Trust Fund. That Housing Trust Fund can only be used to finance affordable housing developments or to finance affordable housing programs. It can be used for no other purpose. So this loan would fund the construction of 50 affordable apartment homes restricted for homeless veterans and lower income veterans' family.
Okay, and then here's the vote.
I find myself in a very unusual position this time. I'm not going to agree with staff this time. Do we vote to provide funding for the affordable housing part? I am going to vote no on that tonight, and it would be totally erroneous to try to assume that means I don't support veterans or don't support housing, low-income housing. Those would both be patently false statements.
Ms. Schumacher?
And I'm going to vote yes on this.
Mr. Blackburn?
I think that what you guys are doing is honorable. I think it's needed, so I'm going to support it.
I, too, I strongly support this project. With that, if we could have a motion.
Move adoption of item number 16.
Second.
Please vote. So let the record show it passes 3-1.
Used Housing First. Housing First model does not belong in Carlsbad, and I could not agree with the doctor more.
But I personally don't feel that this operational model is the best way, is the right way, even I'll say the best way, I guess, to provide service. I think some of the programs that are happening right now are more in the model of enabling inappropriate things instead of helping them solve things. At least in my opinion, there are better ways.
So then we fast forward to January 28th, 2020, and it was an agenda item to approve another 4-point-something million for this project. But there was one thing: the verbiage changed. It was not only for veterans, it was for people with severe mental illness as well. And that caused a lot of concern. Here is a little vignette of some concerned neighbors.
But we do need some questions answered about that severe mental illness thing that was also abbreviated on the slide as SMI.
I want to reiterate several things that Julie said. I'm for veterans. I'm a veteran myself. But my understanding was in 2016 or 2017, it was just veterans housing. It wasn't for severe mental illness. And there are some issues. And if there's one manager on site for 20-plus apartments that probably says 50 to 100 family members, how is one person going to manage 20 plus people who have severe mental illness. The ratios, as far as I'm concerned, aren't there.
And here are some council members asking questions of the staff and what severe mental illness actually means.
Any questions? Mr. Blackburn?
Is it fair to say we already have neighbors who have schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, but they're controlled by medication and we don't even know it? Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I would say that's a fair statement. Yeah. Serious mental illness is, there's all kinds of folks who have serious mental illness. In fact, the Dean of Law at UC Santa Barbara is this amazing woman who speaks about her experience with serious mental illness and is a very well-respected legal scholar.
So all that being said, here's the vote.
If we could have a motion, please.
Move staff recommendation for item number 18.
Please vote. Passes unanimously. Thank you, everyone.
At this point, we're now at the end of January 2020, and over $8 million has been approved for this project. I want to make it clear the funds were approved for the project, okay? It doesn't mean you get to go back and re-vote on this. The funds are allocated, they're approved. They're in the books, as they say. So the moral to the story, council members, you need to do your due diligence before you vote, and you need to listen to the council briefs. Read them, that's what they're for. But you can't change your vote. Now, between the end of January and around the middle of April, Dennis Jensen, who's a neighbor over by the project, the Windsor Pointe site, he and I tried to bring community awareness to this issue. We wanted to assemble a group of people who would help with the opposition to the project. We both used Nextdoor. I would post things, and they referenced Councilmember Schumacher because she's the District 1 rep in which this project lands. Anytime there was any reference to Councilmember Schumacher in Windsor Pointe, the post was flagged and removed. It was censored, okay? And this severely handicapped our ability to put together an opposition to the project because nobody knew what was going on if they were reading Nextdoor. The leads in Nextdoor were complicit in making sure that an opposition did not happen. Now, because I feel the leads have sabotaged the project and in the future negatively affected my life, I have attorneys looking into this because it's pretty serious. Now we fast forward to April 21st, 2020. And there's a workshop. And the reason there's a workshop is because in between the end of January and April 21st, there were a lot of people speaking out against this project because it included severe mental illness, and the neighbors didn't feel like people with severe mental illness belonged in an area that has 2 schools and some parks. It's got a lot of children in that area. So they had a workshop.
How is it possible to legally pass the changes to this project when the yellow signs did not reflect the changes and there was no community outreach before the late night vote? The location of this project near the village and Pine Park is unacceptable due to the high number of mentally ill people already in this area. This was initially sold to our community to service homeless veterans and lower income veterans and their families, and it will not. If the developer could not secure funding for that, it is inexcusable to simply allow them to bastardize this into something else. Do I need to remind you about the mentally unstable man that shot the kids at at Kelly Elementary School? Jefferson Elementary is right down the block from this. The Windsor Pointe proposal is a disastrous foot-in-the-door, bait-and-switch evolution that betrays the citizens of our community. I'm asking the council to respect our property values, our families, and the safety of our children. Please, 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 let's not continue down this discombobulated, disjointed debacle of a path and refuse funding for the severe mental illness portion of the Windsor Pointe project.
Don't see anybody, so Ms. Schumacher, please lead off.
But in light of the clarified information that we have before us, I would like to make a motion to place on a future agenda of the Council the authorizing resolution 2017-030 for the initial $4.25 million for discussion with action as necessary.
Second to the motion. I don't see a second.
So then we find ourselves May 5th, 2020. There is a agenda item that had to do with this project, but it was kind of a soft agenda item. It didn't have anything to do with the development of the project. What it had to do with was the plan to relocate the people who are in the houses now. Where are they going to put those people when they're doing the building? The interesting thing about this agenda item is that Corey Schumacher abstains to vote on that agenda item, but that agenda item had absolutely nothing to do with the funds for the development. But she said she abstains with a strong objection to the $4 million that was approved back in January. Well, Ms. Schumacher, you voted yes on that. Why did you vote yes if you're going to strongly object 3 months later? It makes absolutely no sense to me.
Ms. Schumacher?
I would like for this to be added to the record verbatim that I will be abstaining from this vote with strong objection to the use of the initial $4.25 million restricted for veterans only, as I noted in the April 21st, 2020 regular council meeting.
Okay.
So now we find ourselves in the middle of August 2020. We're at the site. The news crews roll in and they're asking the neighbors what they think of the new project that's going to be going in for people with severe mental illness.
Regular guy in Carlsbad. Tell me where we are and then what's your concern?
We're at 3630 Harding Street.
And then tell me about what you have written on your mask.
I have recall Corey Schumacher, and Corey is the District 1 representative. Corey Schumacher is my representative. Corey Schumacher voted for this fiasco twice. Once in 2017 for $4 million. The second time, another $4 million in 2020, so $8 million.
And then tell me what you want either Corey, the city, to do right now for its residents.
Well, first of all, I really don't expect Corey to do anything for us. She is good at talking about doing things for us, but when it comes to doing something for us, somehow all that talk evaporates. Nothing gets done.
And then tell me about the frustrations you as a resident here. How long have you lived?
I've lived in Carlsbad for 24 years, and I've lived in this area since 2008. Dennis and I, back in January, February, we started to let people know on Nextdoor what was going on here and try to get community around helping us oppose Windsor Pointe. What happened was, because Nextdoor is run by two leads, my posts were taken down and I was censored on Nextdoor. So the community that we wanted to know about Windsor Pointe didn't know because my words were censored. So I started a YouTube channel where my megaphone just got bigger. There really isn't, I don't believe there's anything we can do now. We tried, and as I said, I was censored. Cancel culture.
Okay, Carlsbad, you know what you've got to do? You got to wash those hands. Social distance, 6 feet, right? Wear a mask when you go indoors. Hey, if you're outside, you can keep more than 6 feet between you and the next person. It's up to you, right? Above all, Carlsbad, have a purple day.
He's just a regular guy in Carlsbad, giving you his opinions on the city, good and bad.